Okay, by the third program now, we hope that we've done enough to establish some good movement quality, have joints mobilizing, it should be moving, and have joints stabilizing, it should be stabilizing. So program 3, we should be working with lower rep sets, like sets of 6 down to sets of 4 pretty consistently. So you're really challenging the body to create a lot of force production. So that ideally, you'd be going from your strength set right away to your filler, so you're training stability, mobility under fatigue, and then have a substantial rest. So the more we start loading the body, the more rest we need before that next set is performed. So, you know, in theory, we're producing a lot of force. You can't produce a lot of force under fatigue. Okay, to start here with your first upper body push movement, it's a dumbbell low incline press. So you're going to set the incline in between a standard incline and flat, right in between there. We take our dumbbells, neutral position, chest up, shoulders back and down, heels in the ground, press it up. Aggressively, I want to think pull down, remember to turn on the lats, support the shoulder, drive it up, and pull it down each time while holding my position in the bench. Your lower body knee dominant pushing pattern is a rear foot split squat. When you do that, you're going to elevate your back foot. On a bench, this is a progression from the split squat to the lunge, and now this position right here. So what I'm thinking is, toes on the right foot are up, chest is up, shoulders are back, dumbbell hold by my side. I'm going to picture like I got headlights on my waist. I want the headlights pointing forward the entire time. Back foot's up here, a trail glute, in this case my right glute is turned on to keep the hip extended. I'm going to load through the hip and push through the heel. Load through the hip, push through the heel. Make sure my trunk stays vertical, no flexion whatsoever right here, and drive to the heel to the top. Perform your rep count on both legs. Your first upper body pull pattern is going to be a single arm row. So we take what we've trained already with a rowing pattern, shoulders back, chest forward, pull to the elbow, and now we just go to a more fixed position on the bench. So we don't have to worry about stability much because we can just let our max strength take over. That leg's back, the shoulders retracted here, pull to the elbow, down slow, pull to the elbow, down slow. You don't want to see any movement up here in the shoulder. If that's moving or twisting or turning too much weight, you got to keep that stable right there. Chest forward, through the elbow, back down. We'll perform that rep counts on both sides. Your first lower body hip dominant pattern is the hex deadlift. And this is a very technical movement, but hopefully we've done enough now to prepare you for this. Think of the pull through, which we originally did in the first session. We were here pulling through. It's the same pattern that's going on here. This is not a squat pattern. Okay, and we had a lot of issues early on with our guys because they wanted to squat it. If you squat it, in the next program you're moving to a bar, it's going to beat your shins, beat your knees up. So what you got to think is this. Here's all your checkpoints. First of all, you're going to take the shoes off so your weight stays on the back side of your foot so you can stay through the heel. So shoes off for this one. I'm going to take my feet about hip width, and I want to push my hips back to this position right here. My hamstrings are on stretch as she comes around, as the video comes to the side. So I'm not squatting down to it with my chest up. I'm pushing my hips back to this position right here. So my hamstrings are on stretch. I'm mostly in a hip dominant position. My shoulders are pulled back. My chest is forward. My chin is tucked. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bar and I'm going to grip it real tight. By gripping it tight, I turn on my lats. I support my thoracic spine posture. I'm going to take a little slack out of the bar before I even go to pull it through. All right, so I'm stretched back, chin tucked, grip tight, slack out, and I'm staying through my heels, and I'm thinking pull through. Notice my chin remains tucked, my core is braced, I push back, and I'm here. Through the heels, pull through, and I'm back. If there's anybody that looks like this when they go the back rounds, drop their weight immediately because they're going to do more harm than good. If they can't correct that, keep dropping their weight. They've got to keep a flat back position the whole time through so they learn to keep their retractors on through the entire movement. If they cannot keep a flat back, don't let them do the movement or regress them back to much less weight. That should be a significant load there. Next one, your upper body push pattern is going to be a power band push-up. If you have the use of a power band, great. These can also work with chains if you use chains. You can take the power band just like this, and you come around your back. It looks like this. The most awkward part about it is just getting in position on the ground. Hands are here. It's a standard push-up. Obviously, the more I extend this, the more force I have to work with. So I'm going to go down here. Glutes on, core on, shoulders back. Tuck the elbows. Aim for the chest as I go. Now you can make this harder by adding a thicker band, by putting, raising the feet up a little bit, by adding a plate on top of the back. But at any point, if you lose that perfect plank position, you got to regress back to where you were before. You never compromise the plank. You never compromise the elbow position, or poking the chest forward or sagging the hips. If that happens, you got to regress them back to where they were before. Second lower body push pattern is a goblet lateral lunge. So you'll take our lunge pattern, which we've worked linear. Now we'll just move it lateral. We've done a lot of this in prep work. For the goblet hold, you'll take a dumbbell right here, brace the core, and through. I'm staying through my heel. Notice my right side stiff. And pushing back to the center. I'll perform that on both sides. Your second upper body pull pattern is going to be the chin up and a neutral grip or an underhand grip. If you go underhand, stay inside the shoulders, don't go out wide, it'll bother your wrist and elbow. Or neutral right there for the chin up, where you're working to get the chest up to the bar. So for this case right here, this is my underhand, and as I go, like any row pattern, as I come up here, I don't want the shoulder to hike up. I want to keep the shoulder blade set as I pull through the elbow. So here's an underhand grip, aggressive up, control down. And then control on the way down. If I'm going neutral, I'd be here. Shoulder blades down, up, and then down slow. Car rep count. And you can load that. If guys need help and can't do a bodyweight push-up, which a lot of guys probably may not be able to do, simply use a power band here and let this support them. You can put one knee in, two knees in. You can go down to a smaller power band, one knee in, two knees, and that kind of supports the spotting mechanic. If body weight's too easy for the rep count, you can put a vest on, you can hang weights on them, however you can do to load them for that, because you want to make sure that they're hitting their capacity by, you know, whether it's, if it's a 4 rep day, that's the case that you're hitting capacity around there. Your lower body kind of pulling, the last lower body pulling pattern is a front squat grip, reverse lunge. So I'm going to take my front squat grip, load. I'm here, going through all my fundamentals. I'm reverse lunge back, and I'm pulling through. Reverse lunge back, and I'm pulling through, driving through that heel. For your 4 fillers, the plate stack, I've got a couple of 5-pound plates set up here. I'm going to form a plank. Here's my plank. I'm going to reach across. Make sure my hips don't roll. I go over and back 2 times for that. The lower body filler with the Spider-Man T-spine reach. You're going to get hip mobility here. Hips forward. There's my reach. 5 times on both sides. For my next upper body filler, you got 2 options here. If you have the Twizzler or the body blade, you'll do a warrior multi-planar Twizzler. I'm showing here with a body blade. So I come off my upper body set, I take a warrior position, and working the blade there for about 10 seconds, different angles, wherever it may be. If I don't have access to a blade or a Twizzler, I'll work core stability instead. So we'll do a plank, roll out, knees up, and we'll perform 5 of those. The last lower body filler is a windshield wiper for hip internal rotation, which we've done before. Me in here, emphasizing internal rotation of the hip.